What's on the menu for today?
Wade, we are here. The 114th Yates Cup rematch. Gales Mustangs.
114, Connor. 114.
You gotta love the history of this league, man. And two of the most
I
historic franchises going at it for the 114th, too.
well, yeah, you get an old four matchup, but not only that, but we get a recent rivalry. Not really recent rivalry, but a rivalry
Renewed.
that has been renewed. I mean, we have old four schools, and then we have like the Falls Brannigan era where these teams were duking it out for the top spots. And now last year, same teams that we have this year. So I mean, these teams are getting to know each other. They're not very happy with one another. I know Queens is looking to kind of get the monkey off their back, so to speak. Uh, and for Western, they're trying to host a Vanier at their own stadium. Enough said on that one.
Yeah, I don't think much else needs to be said there. They want that Vanier Cup bad, but it starts by winning this game on Saturday against the Queens Gales. And just to recap a little bit, 113th, this time last year, 29-0. They handled their business. I think this is a different Gales team, though. I do not think we are going to see that score again.
I don't think so. I mean, even if you look at the regular season, they were able to put up a couple scores on the Western Mustangs, and the game kind of fell apart late. But whereas last year they had never seen Western, this year they know what it was like from the Yates the year before. A lot of returning players. But then they also got to see it this year and say, okay, this is how physical they are. Now we know what we have to bring.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I mean, looking at just going back to the game that they played in the regular season, it was a 35-11 win for the Stangs, but it was what, a 21-7 game going into half. So, I mean, two scores with 2 quarters left. That is a very manageable football game. But again, I mean, Western and Queens, two of the best teams at getting to the red zone and finding red zone offense, just came down in that game anyways to scores late, like you said. But again, now these teams have matched up. They've seen each other. They've seen each other in the playoff games. What do you think right now this game is going to come down to in order for Queens to come away with one here?
I would like to say their offense. You said they got shut out last year in the Yates Cup. They need to be able to sustain drives, keep their defense fresh, and put some points on the board. They have to be able to go out there, take a shot play every now and again. They have to run the ball consistently. And that's going to make the difference against the Western Mustangs, who have just suffocated teams as games go on.
Well, and to your point, we saw Queens do this last weekend against the Ottawa GGs. 61 plays in that game, 400 total yards of offense, 31 minutes time of possession in that game. And to your point about running the football, did they ever do that? Over almost 250, 241 on the ground in that game. I think equally as important in this playoff run has been the play of Alex Freakin. I don't think he's really played like a young quarterback. He's kind of played up. He's played like a more veteran guy. And, that just kind of speaks to the character of the player that he is. But on the field, he's done nothing but deliver, take care of the football, put his receivers in positions to make plays. And he's going to have to do that again against this Western team. They are a damn good football team. They've got veterans on the back end of their defense. Panabaker, Valenti, we talk about them all the time. But again, last week we saw it. Panabaker comes away with a big interception in that game, right?
And Valenti finished with the season lead in the OUA. Connor, with Western, I want to talk about the uncharacteristic turnover, if we can put that in a hard air quotes. It was a tipped ball that led to Evan Hillock's first turnover of the year. Since that moment, though, it was like what, 45-4 or to 3, I think is the final score. I think they kind of said, "Hey, yeah, we're done with that. Let's not play around with this anymore." But for the Western Mustangs, they have some DBs that they're going against in this game. We don't know if we're getting Ethan Martin back from injury. Eric Colonna, Ashton Miller-Melanson, Keegan Vanek, they get their hands on the ball. Some way, shape, or form, they are going to make an impact on this game. They have a great core of receivers to go against in purple and silver, but Western's going to have to be extra weary of taking care of the ball this week.
Yeah, they certainly will. And they're not going to have a lot of time. Evan Hillock's not going to have a lot of time to think back there. Again, Queens, we say it all year long. One of the best pass rushes in the country. 23 sacks on the season. I think they were second to only Western in the OUA this year. But they get after the football, and they get after the football, and it forces quarterbacks to make quick decisions. And they're able to capitalize on those. They break on the ball well, like you're saying. They get the ball. If they're not getting their hands on the ball for an interception, they're getting the ball on the ground. So they play really well, but I think up front for Queens is going to dictate the pace of play, how they're attacking on the defensive side of the ball. If they're able to get after Evan Hillock and force him to make some quick reads, he's had a lot of time this year. So if they can force him to make some quick reads, it could result in positive plays for their defense, I think.
I think this game is exciting, Connor. I mean, we've got Western at home. There's going to be a great crowd there. There's going to be a lot of Queens supporters as they're going to travel well. But
they're up top on West Campus there before the game. I saw them as I was coming in. So
yeah, they were. They're up there every week. This one's also a really good coaching matchup, Connor, because Greg Marshall is going for his 13th Yates Cup. I know it seems like he's won 1,000 of them, but he's only won 12. Only is the optimal word there. But Steve Schneider with Queens spent some time at X, spent some time at Western, is now the head guy at Queens. And he's put this team back in contention every year that he has been there. They have seemingly been in the Yates Cup. This Queens team is looking to take that next step, and I think he knows what it's going to take against a Western. It's just whether the masterful Greg Marshall can continue his reign over the conference.
Yeah, I mean, you said it, hit the nail on the head. I'm really looking forward to this coaching matchup. I mean, football is such a chess match, and these are two of the brightest minds in the OUA. I don't think I need to speak more on that. I'm just very excited to see, how they're going to attack one another, how they're going to move these pieces around the board.
Well, even stylistically, right? Like we look at both of the head coaches, they're the offensive side, offensive brains. It's very similar scheme: power run, shot play, or quick screen action. On the defensive side, though, we've got two really cerebral coordinators in Ryan Beckmanis and Gleason. You always hear about the Bible that Gleason gets, but Beck has his guys prepared for everything possible, it seems. Yeah. Every single scenario is calculated. I'm really looking forward to just how now there's familiarity, not from the players, but also the coaches in recent years. How does that change the outlook of this game?
Yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to this game as a whole. But the one thing, I mean, if we're talking about coaches here, the one thing that has stuck with me all season, it was something that Coach Snyder said to you at the interview at the start of the season, when you were talking about, making up some of the players that they had lost, some of the key players from seasons past, right? Like, a guy like Cam Lawson or Anthony Federico or Rashid Tucker, right? So he was talking about that, and he said, you don't necessarily need that guy back, but if you have a collection of guys that can make up for a guy like that, then you're going to find success. And I think this year that has really rung true. This has been, a collective unit. It's really felt like with this Gales team. And, it's not one or two players making, great plays. It's, 3, 4, 5 players making consistent plays and great plays on a game-to-game basis. So, I mean, as much as there were great stars in years past, there's a lot of really darn good players on both sides of the ball this year, I think. And, obviously you still have your veterans like Richard Burton stepping up and housing, muffed punts, which always helps.
I think, Connor, that is it for our preview for this Yates Cup. I mean, we're going to definitely be back before kickoff. But if you guys want to check out the past games to see how these teams got to the conference finals, you can do so at OUA.tv. If you want to check out the Yates Cup CBC Gem, I don't know if it's also going to be on OUA TV or not, but CBC Gem for sure. So head over to cbc.ca and you'll be able to find it through there on Saturday. We're going live 20 minutes before kickoff. So definitely check that out. As always, though, at Connor R. O'Neill, at Wade Zank. We'll give you guys our picks in the All-Canadian episode because we're going to go through all of the conference finals and a bit more.
And we won't be done with Yates coverage just yet. This isn't it. So definitely keep your eyes on the CF Perspective social media pages because we've got some fun stuff coming up.